Welcome to this week's Multifamily Sales Pulse. This is the only publication tracking the markets this closely. We see trends before they're reported anywhere else, so please check in and make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, Mike's Multifamily Minutes, so you never miss a video. And make sure you visit our website for the full report. This week's Multifamily Sales Pulse starts off with the Multifamily Challenge to Eviction Moratorium fails for now. The previous extension was to end at the end of July, but by July 30th, after Congress failed to extend the moratorium, the Biden administration did so without additional authority for another 2 months. So we've got another couple months of this, and then hopefully that will be the last extension, and we'll move forward with just normal market and see what happens with evictions. All right, starting off this week here with Orange County Multifamily had 16 closed sales last week. That's up slightly from last week where there was 13 closed sales. Seven of the 16 closed sales were duplexes, and 9 of the 16 closed sales were in coastal cities. The average days on market was 39 days. There were 2 closed sales that inflated that average days on market. If we remove those 2 closed sales, the average days on market drops to just 17 days. There was a closed sale of note of a 6-unit trophy property in Dana Point on Olinda Drive. The property sold for $3 million. That's $500,000 per unit. Looking at the property, it underwent roughly $200,000 worth of exterior and interior renovations in 2018. The unit mix was 4 2-bedroom, 2-bath units and 2 1-bedroom, 1-bath units. There's even some room to increase rents for the new owner. All right, looking at the listing inventory for last week in Orange County, we had 15 new listings last week, and that is bringing the total number of active listings went from 166 listings 2 weeks ago to 150 total active listings week. The months of inventory was unchanged, and the active listings dollar volume was just about the same as the prior week. Okay, looking at Long Beach multifamily, Long Beach had just 6 closed sales last week, and Long Beach had the same number of closed sales 2 weeks ago and 4 weeks ago. All the closed sales were 2 to 4 unit buildings, and the majority of the sales occurred in 30 days or less. One property was on the market for 128 days, which increased the average days on market from what would have been 16 days to 35 days. Long Beach had 9 new listings last week, and the listing inventory dropped back down below 100. It's now at 95 total number of active listings, after being at 106 listings the prior week. Months of inventory remained at 5 months. All right, looking at Los Angeles multifamily, had 86 closed sales last week, and that is up from the prior week, which was 71 closed sales. And this is more in line with what's typical for the number of total sales in 1 week for Los Angeles County. 35 of the 86 closed sales were duplexes, and closed sales average days on market was 48 days. This is about the normal days on market for a listing in LA County. LA County last week saw 151 new listings, and this is about normal for Los Angeles County for a week. Months of inventory remained at 10 months, and active under contract last week and pending listings last week were both up from the prior week and more in line with a typical week of activity for Los Angeles County multifamily. Okay, looking at San Diego County, we had 18 closed sales last week. That's up from 17 in the prior week, and it's the highest number of closed sales per week in quite some time. San Diego County multifamily continues to be in strong demand from investors. Another indication of strong demand is that 8 out of the 18 closed sales last week, 14 were transactions that closed at or above the asking price. And 14 of the 18 closed sales were duplexes. Of the finance transactions, 2 transactions were financed with VA financing, and 3 transactions were financed with FHA financing. Looking at the listing inventory, there was 28 new listings last week, and the total number of active listings is now at 206 active listings. This is about normal for San Diego County multifamily. Okay, let's look at Riverside County. Multifamily had 6 closed sales last week, and that's down from 8 closed sales in the prior week. It's about an average for the number of weekly closed sales for Riverside County. The closed sales average days on market was 29 days. It's typically runs about 45 days, and half of the closed sales were all cash transactions. Half of the 6 closed sales were all cash transactions. One transaction that stood out from the rest was a fourplex sale on Cottonwood Road in Palm Springs. The fourplex sold for $1,026,500, which is quite high for 4 units in Palm Springs. And the units consisted of all 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and the property included a pool. The listing inventory for Riverside, there was 11 new listings last week, which is higher than normal and the same as the prior week. Usually the new listings per week is around 6 to 8 listings. So the total number of active listings moved up over 100 after being less than 100 listings for a couple of weeks. And months of inventory remained the same at 3 months. All right, looking at the San Bernardino County multifamily, there was 10 closed sales last week. It's about normal for the number of closed sales per week in San Bernardino County. The closed sales average days on market was way up at 70 days. There was 2 closed sales that had been on the market one for 360 days and another for 150 days. With those 2 closed sales removed, the average days on market would have been 23 days, which is more in line with what's typical for weekly days on the market. There was 8 new listings last week in San Bernardino County. This is below the typical number of new listings in a week, which usually ranges about 15 to 20 per week. The total number of active listings is back down below 150, again at 146 listings. Okay, so that's it for this week's SoCal Multifamily Sales Pulse. Tune in next week for the breakdown of the sales and stats from the prior week. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mike's Multifamily Minutes, so you never miss a video. See you next week.